Imagine this. Your phone rings. You pick it up and instinctively say one word, hello? But here's the strange part. The telephone's inventor never wanted people to say hello at all. In fact, he thought it was the wrong greeting entirely. And if history had unfolded just a little differently, every phone call today might begin with a completely different word. So how did hello win? To answer that, we have to go back to the chaotic early days of the telephone, when nobody knew the proper way to answer a call. When Alexander Graham Bell demonstrated the telephone in 1876, the device itself felt almost magical. Voices traveling through wires across miles of distance. But there was a practical problem nobody had solved yet. How do you start a conversation when you can't see the other person? Bell had a clear idea. He believed the perfect greeting was the nautical word, ahoy. Yes, like a pirate. Bell loved the word because sailors used it to call across distances at sea. It was loud, clear, and easy to recognize. In fact, Bell insisted that telephone operators should answer every call with ahoy. For a brief moment in history, it looked like that might actually happen. Early telephone exchanges experimented with it, and Bell himself answered calls that way. But another powerful figure had a very different opinion, and that disagreement would permanently change the way we speak on the phone. That man was Thomas Edison. Edison wasn't the inventor of the telephone, but he was heavily involved in improving the technology. And in 1877, while experimenting with phone communication, Edison proposed a different greeting, a word that had already existed for centuries. Hello. At the time, hello wasn't really a greeting. It was more like an exclamation used to get someone's attention, similar to shouting, hey, across a field. But Edison believed it had one huge advantage. It was loud and unmistakable. In a letter written in 1877, Edison argued that hello could be heard clearly over early telephone lines, which were often noisy and distorted. He even wrote that it could be heard from 10 to 20 feet away from the receiver. That made it perfect for telephone operators who needed a quick way to signal they were ready to connect a call. And those operators, mostly young women working in early switchboards, became the real reason the word spread. When people placed a call in the late 1800s, they didn't dial numbers. Instead, they spoke to an operator who manually connected the wires. Every time a call came in, the operator answered the same way. Hello? Day after day, thousands of times. Soon callers began copying them. Within just a few years, the habit stuck. By the 1880s, hello had become the standard telephone greeting across America. And Bell's beloved ahoy? It disappeared from phone calls almost entirely. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. Some historians believe Edison didn't just popularize the word, he may have completely transformed it. Before the telephone, hello had many spellings, hello, hello, or even hollow. None were standardized. The rise of the telephone helped lock hello into the exact spelling and meaning we use today. In other words, the phone didn't just change communication. It helped shape the English language itself. There's also a fascinating theory about why the word stuck psychologically. Linguists suggest that hello works well because of its sound pattern. The open he sound grabs attention, and the long lo stretches clearly across distance, making it easier for the brain to recognize quickly. That makes it ideal for starting conversations when two people aren't sure if the connection is working. Think about it. When you answer a call today, you rarely say the person's name first. You say, hello? Because deep down, you're still doing what people did nearly 150 years ago, confirming that a voice is actually there. And even now, the story isn't completely finished. In some cultures, people answer phones differently. In Japan, many people say moshi moshi. In parts of Europe, callers often identify themselves immediately instead of greeting. Yet despite all these variations, hello has become one of the most recognized words on Earth. A word that started as a shout across a field. Ahoy! Diegetic shout. That beat out a pirate greeting from the inventor of the telephone. And that quietly spread through the voices of switchboard operators in the 19th century. So the next time your phone rings and you instinctively answer with hello, remember, you're repeating a habit shaped by inventors, engineers, and thousands of forgotten operators from more than a century ago. And if Alexander Graham Bell had won that argument, you might be answering your phone with ahoy, which honestly raises a fun question. If phones were invented today, with texting, caller ID, and video calls already in mind,